Hello there, my name's Lorna Hall and we're going to talk today a bit about sensory stories for you and your child. Before you start, make sure your child is sitting comfortably and securely, that they're perfectly comfortable in how they're sitting, so that their attention can be on the story and on you and not on trying to keep sitting upright. If at all possible, sit with your child's back to the window so that you're facing the window. And that way, the child isn't dazzled by the window and they're getting the best of any available light coming in to make the best of their useful vision. Try to wear something self-coloured. There's no pattern to distract from the objects that you're using. And if you're laying materials down, it's best to use something self-coloured. Now I've got two cloths here. One with a pattern, which is dark, and there would be a good contrast. However, the pattern could be off-putting. It doesn't make the objects visible to the child. So what's much better is to use a self-coloured cloth. This is just a tablecloth. It could be a sheet, it could be a bath towel, whatever you happen to have, an old curtain, but something that gives you a nice dark background so that any objects on it stand out. What I'm going to do is tell you some stories and show you how you can make these sensory stories and make some points, general points, as we go along. First of all, stories can be published ones, or they can be ones you've made up, especially for your child. Or they could be made up to suit the materials that you want to use. Either way is good. And we're going to start with one called Doing the Animal Bop. Now, for this I've used a cushion cover just to store the materials, and we're going to have a talk about storage later. So this was a cushion cover I came across and thought I need to have a story for that. And I've decided to use this story, which is called Doing the Animal Bop. And really I feel it should have a song, it should have a tune to it, because it's more of a song, but it's all in rhyme. And I think there are lots of actions you may want to do with your child depending what movement they have. If you like to dance and you sometimes sing, why don't you do the animal thing? Put your heels together and waddle along. Go crack, crack, crack. It's a penguin song. And if you happen to have a penguin toy, but I don't really think that's necessary. Here we go. High stepping feet and feathers that bounce, flim flam flutter at the ostrich flounce. And so I've got my first piece of sensory material, and here it is, the feathers. A feather boa, and as you can see, this is from a party shop, I think meant for a hen night. Now this isn't a terribly good one, I have to say, because the feathers shed all over the place. So if you're going to buy one in your pound shop, in your party shop, have a check that it's safe for your child, that they're not going to be showered with feathers, as you would be with this one. But just imagine, this is a really feathery sensation for your child. We'll have a talk about where the sensations are going to be a bit later on. So a bit more of the story. Just like a snake, you can slither along with a hiss and a wriggle. You can sing this song. And we have another sensory. Now here we are. And this is our snake. Haven't bothered to put a mouth or eyes on it, but you could do that if you wish, depending on how much vision your child has. This, as you can see, is just a sock. Here's the heel. And I've stuffed it with, I think it's bits of wadding, but it could be old tights, old socks, it could be anything at all. And I've tied the end with an elastic band. You may wish to stitch it. I've left it open just in case I change my mind about what I'm putting in it. So here we have our snake. Lots of sensations here for your child of length. You could make it any sort of texture. You may have a furry sock, a toweling sock, velour. This one is just a cotton sock. If your child, as I say, has useful vision, it's really colourful. If not, they're getting the sensation of the length and the soft squeezy material inside. And for this story, really these are the only sensory materials I've used. I do have a duck puppet, which just happened to have, because later on we come to a page about the duck. But there's lots of action in this. Wave one arm, stop your feet, trudge along to the elephant beat. So you can have actions in here as well. Here's a page about the duck, swinging at bottom, grunt and groan, roar and rage, stomp, 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 it's a rhino romp. All the cow can do is chew, so let's end up with a great big moo. And that's the end of your story. Now, this is a story that can be read in rhyme, it can be read all the way through. You may only want to read a little bit of it at a time. And these are, as I say, are just two items I've used. You might not have chosen these ones in particular, this might be something else you would prefer. But as little as that, we don't need an item for every page in the book. That would be totally overboard and bombarding your child with all these sensations. We just want a little at a time. And I've stored them, as I say, in the zebra cushion cover. They could equally well be stored in a polythene bag. And that's the end of our story of, doing the animal bop.